Monday, January the 25th, 2021. This City Council regular meeting will be conducted virtually with council members conferencing into the meeting. In consideration of the continued rising numbers, actually they're leveling out, thank goodness, of our COVID-19 cases in Cass County and the city of Raymore, the public is encouraged to participate from home. There's limited space available in chambers should the public wish to attend. The public can also view the meeting live by going to www.raymore.com/video. The public can submit comments at any point during the meeting by emailing Mr. Mike Eke at mekey@raymore.com, and those comments will be read aloud at the public comments section 11, part of the agenda. I will call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call.
Councilmember Abdelgawad, absent. Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Berenson.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Present.
Councilmember Circo.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Jacobson, absent. Councilmember Townsend.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow.
Present. We have a quorum. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. We have no presentations or awards this evening or personal appearances, so we'll move on to the staff report. Mr. Feuerborn.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I begin the staff report, just want to check with the council members. Are you hearing all of us okay, including the city clerk? Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Public Works and Parks and Recreation written reports are in the council's packet. In lieu of the number of people who we are having here tonight, if you have any questions regarding their reports, they would be more than happy to answer those if you could send them email questions. But tonight we do have Ms. Harmer present to make a report for the communications department relative to items that affect them.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. It is once again time to invite our residents and business owners to a community conversation. We will be having a community conversation online via Zoom at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 23rd. Just like before, we are teaming up with the KU Public Management Center for an evening of discussions about the future of Raymore. And while this is a virtual event, we do have the technical support that will allow our participants to give comments and feedback that the group can vote on in real time to determine our priority areas. The first community conversations were about 5 years ago with Reimagine Raymore, and that input on what was important to residents went into creating the city's strategic plan. As most of you remember, you adopted that in 2017. And by October of 2018, we had another community conversation for residents to provide feedback on how we were doing with that plan and to see what else might be important to them. So again, we have crossed off a lot of goals on that list, and now we want to hear one more time, well, not one more time, a couple more times, but we want to hear again from residents and business owners as we continue to look to our future about what they want and expect in roads, parks, public safety, and other topics. So we will be using this feedback in developing our department-specific master plans. And those who want to be active participants do have to RSVP. You can RSVP online at raymore.com/community. We will also be streaming the conversation live on our YouTube channel, so if you are more of a fan of observing silently, that is an option. And we will also have 2 more community conversations in the fall so that residents can view drafts of these plans before they go to City Council for approval. So again, that is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 23rd. It is an online Zoom meeting, so please engage with us. And if you have any questions, you can contact Assistant City Manager Mike Eke or me. We'd be happy to answer those questions for you, and that is all I have for you tonight.
Any questions for Melissa? Mr. Barber.
Yeah, since it's a Zoom meeting, is there going to be a limit on how many people can participate?
not necessarily looking at the ceiling limit. We are hoping to have, because this is going to be online, we're anticipating roughly 75 to 100 people that will be able to participate. In talking with the KU Public Management Center as well as Collaborative Arts, which is formerly known as CoVision, they have, expressed to me that they have held several of these events with 150, 200 plus individuals. And so they fully are capable and have the technology ready to hold a successful event for us via Zoom.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a general question. How do we confirm that the participants who are going to RSVP are actual residents or business owners within the city of Raymore when we're doing it virtually?
A good question. In the past, we have not necessarily gone in to verify whether individuals who participate are residents or business owners. Typically, we've used the language, we invite community stakeholders, and we're really focusing our messaging to those folks that reside within the city or have a vested interest. Typically, what we can figure out fairly easily is folks who, the questions that we ask and the type of conversation that KU or the University of Kansas Public Management Center is able to pull together on the agenda really focuses the conversation so that it ensures that, we're not talking about things that are necessarily outside our city limits. Really, we're focused on the conversation here within the community and receiving feedback that is going to be valuable both to the comprehensive planning process, but also for our strategic planning process.
Excellent. Thank you.
For participation characteristics, do you foresee this type of setup for a limited number and then the rest zooming in on this, Mike?
So what we're kind of envisioning right now, and we're still kind of working through the logistics, if you remember back in 2015 and also in 2018, we had all of the residents were in tables of 8 and 10, and then you had each table had a conversation leader or a kind of a moderator at those tables. Then we had a separate team of folks that were on the theme team. What we're envisioning is here in the room in this type of setup is where we would have the theme team taking in all that input and kind of the creating the second half of the presentation for the night where folks would vote on those priorities. But using Zoom then, everyone who Zooms in will be part of the general session for the first 15, 20 minutes. Then we'll send everyone into virtual breakout rooms. So you'll actually be in a breakout room of only about 5 to 7 with a conversation leader then. And then we do the exact same process where one person would be taking notes, typing it into an iPad or a laptop. That information would go to the theme team based here at Centerview. And then we'd pull all that information together for the second half of the presentation that everyone virtually would vote on.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to it. All right.
And we would once again anticipate that the council's role in this would be, just as it has been in the rest of these, a listening mode to everything that's being said and then the feedback from it. Just extremely critical that we continue to move forward. You'll remember from our original presentation with you that this is very, very closely tied with the comprehensive plan that we're moving forward with for the city, and we need this feedback as we continue to try to get through that plan in 2021 and get it wrapped up by December of 2021. And to that end, our other presenter for the City Council tonight is Ms. Chardoux. You'll remember that we had indicated to the council that once a month we would be bringing you a progress report on the comprehensive plan. So she's here tonight to give that report.
Just before we move to that, I have one last question. So I know that the survey just hit the mailboxes at people's homes today and maybe within the next couple of days. Will there be any opportunity for the results of the survey to be used in the community conversation, or are we mostly focusing on the comprehensive plan that we have established so far?
The point of the community conversation is to use all that kind of feedback, but the goal is to get direction for the comprehensive plan. But just like the use tax, we intend to use the survey to the greatest degree possible
Okay,
during all of those conversations.
all right. Thank you, sir. All right. Katie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, thank you, sir. In your packets, you have the updated Gantt chart highlighting this week, January 25th. A few things to note: about half the departments have started. These are mostly the ones that are a little bit more time-consuming and are often more interconnected. The other half will be starting later this year. Then there's also been wrapping up of prep work, where the majority of time has been spent, such as demographics, doing population projections, outlines for the departments. There'll be an overarching strategic plan document as well that will talk about the history, the objectives and goals and methodology. But that will be used so that the various department plans don't have repetitiveness and keep having to say that over and over again. And then also setting up meetings and board communication where appropriate. Like has already been discussed, Ms. Harmer's been setting up the community conversations for February, and this is integral to moving forward as the departments prioritize and start to formulate their plans. Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Katie? Okay. Mr. Fearborn, anything else?
Thank you both. Just to remind the council that next week, February 1, we do have a work session scheduled. Currently, 2 items on that work session schedule. The full report from Pat Ibarra on the staffing study, and we will have the entire study in front of you in the mailing on Thursday. And then we'll follow that up with a report out on our progress to date on the use tax campaign, since they're both tied together. That concludes staff reports this evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Fearborn? Yes, Mr. Berenson.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, will that meeting be in person, or are we still going to remain virtual in February?
It'll be virtual. I was going to be speaking with the mayor about this tomorrow. While we are seeing a leveling off of the numbers, we're averaging in each of the major cities in Cass County, 50 go off, 50 come on. We get 50 new a week, but we're dropping off. So we're leveled off and slightly decreasing. If you saw the PD and emergency management report today, we still think that to be an abundance of caution, that we will keep everything in place as it was in January through the end of February, with a target date of the first work session in March 1 for starting to opening things back up. That's a Monday, so it just seems to work pretty well that way. Let's get this slam dunk once and for all, would be our recommendation.
All right, thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
Anyone else? Is that it, Mr. Fearborn?
That's all, sir.
Okay. All right, we have no committee reports tonight, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have 2 items under the consent agenda for consideration tonight. I would entertain a motion to dispose of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Townsend,
I move that we approve consent agenda items. Item A, City Council minutes for January 11, 2021, and item B, appointment of Thomas Ingart to Ward 4 Planning and Zoning Commission seat.
is there a second?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Holman, I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda, both items. So just to kind of give you a report, Mr. Ingert actually is in the audience tonight in the event any members had any questions for him. Several of us know Mr. Ingert. You all probably remember him from the work effort that we did with the Morning View neighborhood over there for the non-privatization of roadway surfaces and working with them on that. So he's in the audience tonight and has stepped up to volunteer to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. If anyone has any questions of Mr. Ingert, as I said, he is here. If there's no further discussion or questions, could I please have the roll call?
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad, absent. Councilmember Barber.
Yes.
Councilmember Berenson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burke,
Yes.
Councilmember Circo,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobson absent, Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 and 2 absent. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3596 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3596 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed to the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for a portion of city right-of-way of 58 Highway west of Prairie Lane.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Townsend.
I move that we approve the second reading of Bill 3596, transfer of right-of-way segment of MoDOT.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. This is Councilmember Holman. I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3596. Any further discussion? Hearing none, could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad absent, Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Berenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke,
Yes.
Councilmember Circo,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobson absent, Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Motion carries 6 yeses, no objections, and 2 absent. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3597 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3597 by title only, an ordinance reappointing Ross Nigro Jr. as municipal judge for the City of Raymore.
Thank you. Is there a motion to dispose of this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Townsend.
move that we approve the second reading of Bill 3597, reappointment of Judge Ross Nigro, municipal judge.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. This is Councilmember Holman. I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3597. Any further discussion? Hearing none, could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad absent, Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Berenson,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke,
Yes.
Councilmember Circo,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobson absent, Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6 yes, no objections, and 2 absent. We'll now move on to new business. Could I please have the first reading of Bill 3598 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3598 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, committing the City of Raymore to participate in the Show Me Green sales tax holiday in 2021.
Thank you. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask Ms. Hill to make a staff report on this agenda item.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. In 2008, Senate Bill 1181 was enacted by the General Assembly to establish the Show Me Green sales tax holiday in Section 144.526 of the Revised Statutes of Missouri, which exempts the state sales tax on the sale of certain Energy Star certified appliances annually when purchased from April 19th through 25th. Municipalities may choose to participate in the holiday to exempt city sales tax from the sale of these items. To participate in the 2021 sales tax holiday, the city must notify the Missouri Department of Revenue and submit a copy of the signed ordinance by March 5th, 2021. Thank you.
And if I may add on to that, sir, the council may remember from the past that we presented you with 2 ordinances, one in the negative and one in the positive. Most of the council members who know me, and I know the mayor knows this, I do not like negative ordinances. We always try to phrase our ordinances in the affirmative. If the council didn't want to participate in the sales tax holiday, they would simply vote the affirmative ordinance down. So there is really no need to have 2 ordinances to choose from in front of the council.
Okay.
So an affirmative vote on this, we participate in the sales tax holiday. A negative vote on this, and we do not. That
Thank
concludes
you.
staff report, sir.
Any questions with Mr. Fearborn's explanation there?
Mr. Mayor, this is Councilmember Holman.
Yes, Mr. Holman.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Peerborn, since the enactment of this ordinance to the state legislature about 12 years ago, we have never declined to participate in this. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? If not, I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Townsend?
I move that we approve the first reading of Bill 3598, Show Me Green Sales Tax Holiday.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Holman, and I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. The motion is made and seconded to approve Bill 3598. As previously stated, it means that we would participate in the Show Me Green sales tax holiday. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad, absent. Councilmember Barber.
Yes.
Councilmember Berenson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Councilmember Circo.
Yes.
Councilmember Holman.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobson, absent. Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. 6 yes, no objections, and 2 absent. That concludes new business. We'll now move on to public comments. We have 2 members from the public here tonight. If either one of them would care to address the council at this time, please step forward to one of the microphones, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Also, for those at home who care to make comment to the council, you may do so by, again, writing Mr. Eke an email, and he will forward that information to us. Again, that email address is M-E, as in Mary, E-K-E-Y @raymore.com. And we will now pause for 2 minutes for any responses. I know I said 1 earlier because 2 seems a long time.
Can we get some hold music for the next time we do this?
Yeah, well, you know, we didn't get to Austin soon enough to get him to set it up for us, or we would have.
We would have to vote on the music.
Maybe Jake could play some Crystal Gale for us. He's probably got some of that in his collection.
Yeah, well, Tom could be playing Red Kingdom. I mean, come on,
There you
Tom.
go.
You didn't have that queued up? What happened?
Yeah, that's true. I should have already had that set up, ready to pound it out.
Are we getting close, Mr. Pureborn?
Yes, sir, we're practically there.
He's over there monitoring his stopwatch.
That's 2 minutes, sir.
Mr. Eke, any responses? No responses? No one stepping forward to the microphone? We will close the public comments at this time, and we'll move on to the mayor-council communications. I'll start at the top of my screen here tonight. Mr. Barber, do you have anything?
Oh, I just want to make sure I welcome Mr. Raymore for his participating in our planning and zoning. Like I always like to say, our city could not run without our citizen volunteers. They are so very important. And I do remember meeting him at Morning View, and I think he'll be a fine selection and look forward to him serving the city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Townsend?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll also echo Mr. Barber's comments and also add, I also want to send my congratulations and thanks to a lot of the comments I've received regarding our ice rink. It's getting a lot of use and a lot of people are really enjoying it. I've heard things personally and seen a lot of comments on those different social media pages. But again, please extend my thank you to Mr. Mustine and his staff for a job well done as we move forward into these winter months, and looking for the same comments when we move into the spring when that splash park opens up as well. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Holman?
I would concur with the comments of my previous fellow council members and tell Tom Ingert, welcome to the team, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Circo?
Same thing, concur with all my council members. Welcome aboard, Mr. Engert, to fulfill that open slot. We appreciate you coming forward, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burke?
I'm going to keep it short because my internet is not very stable, so I'm just going to say go Chiefs.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Mr. Berenson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know Sonia's not here tonight. She would probably want me to welcome Tom Ingert as well, and I certainly welcome Tom. Since he's listening, we'll only say nice things about him tonight. It is really nice to have him on board, and it'll be great to have somebody from Morning View helping represent our city too. So look forward to having him on board, and very glad that he volunteered to do so. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And I would echo that as well. Thank you, Tom, for your willingness to volunteer for the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think you'd be a great addition to that. I'd also like to thank the United States of America for a smooth transition of power. I think we all had anticipated that there might be some replication of things that had occurred previously, and things seem to be going well and moving forward. Going to give them every opportunity to succeed, I hope, and we'll see how things move forward. So I was really pleased about the inauguration day and the lack of issues that occurred therein. Also, I want to tell Melissa, thank you for bringing this information to us tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how the virtual streaming works with the community conversation, but I'm looking forward to that as well. I think that's has proven to be a successful and very valuable tool for us moving forward and for our strategic planning efforts. And I'm glad to see that we're scheduling things and moving forward again with even with a lot of work on the blackboard that says we've got all these things, these different items to get done. Hopefully we can start checking some of those off with the events that are, hopefully the Ward Road will get rocking and rolling here. I know Jim and I have talked, and there's been a little bit of a struggle with the county on that final planning effort there, but we are working on it, hopefully moving ahead. And have we heard anything from MoDOT about the roundabouts or anything?
We have not heard from MoDOT, but I can tell you, sir, that we submitted to the county 80 pages of plans. The plans for that particular road are now complete. County is reviewing them to put their finals, even though we will be bringing the city council the cost share agreement with the council and formalized. But as that's moving forward, we didn't see any reason to wait on the others. So those plans are complete. They look very good. They look very good from a pricing standpoint as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's all I have. And I don't think we have any reason to move to executive session tonight, do we?
We do not, sir.
Thank you. I'd
Mr. Mayor?
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Holman.
this is Councilmember Holman. There was one other item of historical significance that was mentioned on the news tonight. And since we might need to check with Mr. Fearborn's heart surgeon on this, I thought it worth mentioning. And it probably hasn't happened in 100 years, but the Missouri Tigers surpassed the Kansas Jayhawks in the national basketball poll. So long time coming, and I just want to make sure that his health is in good shape.
1991.
I've not heard that.
It's a shame you
Yes,
can't see the look on Mr. Fearborn's face.
Yes, it's a shame, sir.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir. I motion that we adjourn from the regular city council meeting for January 25th.
Thank you, Mr. Towns. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Motion's been made and seconded. Could I please have the roll call?
Councilmember Abdel-Gawad absent. Councilmember Barber.
Yes.
Councilmember Berenson.
Yes.
Councilmember Burke.
Yes.
Councilmember Circo.
Yes.
Councilmember Holman.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobson absent. Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 6 yes votes and no objections. 2 absent. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a pleasant